What is going on, everybody? We are here at the All Out Blitz podcast with Jeff and Brady. Today, we're bringing you, man, it was such a no kind of pun intended wild card weekend. Those games this past weekend were absolutely ridiculous. So many games tighter than what I ever expected. This is why I do not gamble. Let's be honest, because the NFL is the NFL, and you can't be as accurate as Brady anyway. So before we get into it, though, that's kind of our intro. We're going to talk about Wildcard Weekend and how wild it absolutely was. Then we're going to get into what is probably the most insane postseason coaching changes that I have ever seen, or at least that I can remember. So welcome back to the All Out Blitz podcast. So what's going on, B-Man? How we doing?
All right. So we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, and this is mainly for the watchers of the podcast here. As you can see, I'm wearing a absolutely, definitely 110% Tyrell Shavers jersey, not Stephon Diggs whatsoever. I made the decision over the weekend after we'll just break into the playoffs here, after the Patriots laid the smackdown on the Chargers. It finally,
but don't even go any, not even the Chargers, just our poor good friend Justin Herbert.
Yeah, that's just, man.
He's who I feel worse for.
Yeah, he is the main person because, man, he is the guy that always gets the flack. And it's like, that's not even just him personally. It's always the quarterback that usually, he's the fault for everything.
Always.
But if you seriously take a deep dive into what happened with the game, it's this, back to what I was saying about me personally, there was the game that pushed me over the edge. And I said to you at halftime when it was 6-3, I said, dude, even if we win this game, I'm like, I think I'm going to be done being a Chargers fan, because just Jim Harbaugh mainly caring way too much about the person instead of the NFL's a business at the end of the day. It's like, it's always good to care about the person. You never want to fire somebody. Like, it's because you got to think about the person behind it. But at the end of the day, the NFL is a business and you need to do what is best for the team. Now, I just got tired of everything. Like I said, I've been Chargers fan for the past 5 years. I've been through the whole 27-0 debacle. I've been through the hiring and, thank goodness, the firing of Greg Roman. And it was just time to be done. Because like I said to you, I'm like, I've been a fan of the Bills since the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs the first time. Because I remember watching that live, and man,
yeah.
It felt like it was my team that I was rooting for there. It wasn't just my hatred for the Chiefs. It felt like I was rooting for my team there. So people can say, oh, he's a bandwagon. Oh, he's this and that. At the end of the day, I'm saying I've been a Bills fan for the past 4 years. You could fight me on that. I don't care.
The majority of people are, I think, bandwagon at some point. And you could say, no, I'm not. Maybe you were born
into it.
You're not a fan of teams just because I'm a fan of teams. I mean, you're born into this kind of, fan favoritism, whatever it is, or team favoritism. When your team has success, your team has success. And the people that don't know you, and this isn't you specifically, but the people that don't know you, and then they ask, and you talk to somebody new and they say, well, yeah, who's your favorite team? And you say who it is. And I'm like, oh, that's just because they won, or that's because of so-and-so.
Right. Yeah.
It is what it is. I mean, I am more of a fan of certain players based off of their characteristics, based off of how they present themselves on and off the field. That's me personally. I mean, like I said, I've always been a Falcons fan. I mean, since 1989. I love Buffalo. It's no secret that Josh Allen is my absolute favorite player, especially right now. But yeah, it is what it is, right? I mean, you do get pushed over the edge. There are many, many things in my life, especially with the Atlanta Falcons, and you can remove the Super Bowl thing out of it. Um, because believe it or not, folks out there, Falcons fans really don't care anymore when you think you're throwing a dig and saying 28-3. It literally does not matter
They've heard it
anymore.
for the past 10 years.
It doesn't matter. But like my stuff is again more personal. Like originally when you fire or cut or trade Matt Ryan, the greatest Falcon of all time. Now the dude's back in the wheel. He's back behind the wheel now. Like he's ready to rock and roll.
At the
Um,
time being.
yeah. I mean, like that kind of stuff. I'm a fan of good relationships. I'm a fan of having good personal relationships. But when it comes to coaches, dude, like and I am a coach, and it's tough, and you have to make those difficult decisions. And Greg Roman, I mean, he's not. I mean, I'll say the same thing about Joe Brady at Buffalo. I mean, how many more tunnel screens can you throw? Like seriously, um, if it works, it works, and when it doesn't, it's magnified. And here we are, right? And now, what was, and we'll start off with that game. I mean, it was Sunday night. The Chargers and the Patriots. It was super close for the longest time. But poor Herbert, dude. I mean, he got absolutely mauled. And when you have such a patchwork offensive line, it's difficult, especially at this stage of the game, to have success. Now, you could say, well, I'm one that says this. If Slater was there, if Alt was there, that's fine. But where did the majority of the pressure come from? Straight up Bradley Bozeman's face hole, right through the center of the interior offensive line. That is their problem right now. If you wanted to move Jamari Salyer to a guard, which that's where he rightfully belongs as a big fella, but again, your tackles are gone. So there's arguments to be made everywhere, but Greg Roman is not he's not very creative. He's just it's very simplistic type of offense, and it's the type of offense where you just have to go do your job. But when you
He
have third and fourth stringers as your starters, it's hard to say, let's go do our job.
Yeah, that's his offense was good for Baltimore because all they did was just run the ball with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. So he was good there. But whenever you come to a place where it's the Chargers and you don't have a Derrick Henry and you don't have as mobile of a quarterback as Lamar, you're your creativity is really tested.
It
And
is.
Greg Roman just simply put, I'll stop because I was taught whenever I was younger, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. I'll put it in a nicest way as possibly can. He's not fit for the Chargers. The Chargers need to go get somebody that is very pass heavy minded because if you have someone as talented as Justin Herbert, why are you trying to just run the ball every single play? There's
Well, and Hampton's a stud. Like Omari and Hampton
he
is a
yeah.
stud. And I think somebody honestly like a Brian Dable, not to bring Buffalo stuff into this, but like a Brian Dable that understands, that worked with Josh, that, you know what I mean, that works with a heavy passer, and he can move if he needs to with a solid running back. Yeah, it's just, the Chargers' fate, unfortunately, like we talked about in the last episode, nobody ever expected them to get this far or to keep winning games because they realistically shouldn't have, which is amazing that they were still doing
Sure,
what they
yeah.
did at the end of the year. Unfortunately, they had to face somebody like the Red Hot Patriots this season with Drake May at the helm. The Chargers defense was absolutely phenomenal. I think they did an amazing job against the Patriots to help not let it get completely out of hand. It was really just, and that's the game, right? Like that's why defense wins championships, but normally good defensive play will spark and create that offensive fluidity that allows you to put points on the board. And unfortunately on Sunday night, that didn't happen. I mean, now the Patriots move on to this coming weekend. So let's jump into the earlier game as we we watched this in the car.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna brag about this. This is just a putting it out there. 6-0. 6-0. No personal feelings were involved. I even said, I'm like, no, I can't take the Chargers. As an NFL fan.
So from the predictions of last week, like I said before, this is why Jeff doesn't gamble. Brady went 6-0 in his picks. What was mine? 4-2.
4-2 because you chose the
It
Packers
was
and
4-2.
Chargers.
Yeah, so 4-2. Still not bad. Still not, I'll take it. It's all right.
That's not bad at all.
But so Buffalo took on Jacksonville.
It's a fantastic game.
Oh my gosh.
It
But
was
again,
everything
why
it
I
should have been.
don't again why I don't gamble. I said that James Cook was going to have a day.
Just
He
flip
did
that one.
not. Yeah, he did. I mean, he did as well as he could, right? But again, star quarterbacks getting absolutely mauled. I mean, if you look at the injury report from yesterday on why Josh was limited or
He
didn't
got the
practice,
snot beaten out of him.
it was 3 different injuries. It was because
It was one to his
Josh
finger.
Hines Allen fell on his head.
Yep.
His
Concussion.
index finger on his throwing hand, and when his knee buckled at the goal line when he went and put 6 on the board. Buffalo, of course, comes out with the win. Last potential opportunity to score. They go ahead and take the lead. Jacksonville, of course, has one more drive. A tip. Cole Bishop grabs it and ends the game. Our car was a little noisy at the time when that happened because we were watching it live. But it was a great game. I mean, it's one of those emotional roller coaster types of games, up and down. And I think
Those
it
are
was
the games football fans watch football for.
Yes, I think it was 4 lead changes right in the last
In the fourth
half of the
quarter.
fourth quarter.
Yeah.
It was absolutely amazing. Such a solid football game. Now the Bills get to go and take on the number 1 seed Denver Broncos this coming weekend. We'll do another episode here talking about a review or a prediction and thing like that for the weekend. But what a game that was, man. I mean, you look at, Josh did put that cape on. Josh did take him down. The offensive line in Buffalo, I mean, when you can have a 10-yard tush push,
Dude, that was so great. That
big
was
fellas
awesome.
just carry them. You know what I mean?
Yep, just
Like
pick
that
him
was
up and say,
amazing.
we'll bring you to the end zone.
Yes. Amazing football game. I mean, it was one for the ages. And that started Wildcard weekend. To that point, it was like, you know what? Is it going to get any better?
Yeah. I'd say it did, honestly.
I think it did. I think every game has just added more to what this weekend is all about, and that is putting solid teams against solid teams, some of them underdogs, right? But playing like they had to. Like they played for their life essentially in that game.
I will say, I will give the quick shout out to Jacksonville as well. They had a fantastic first year under Liam Cohen, and dude, I seriously only see an upside over in Jacksonville. Like they may not have like a 13-4 record next year, but man, they're gonna be a fantastic team that definitely, I think they're gonna shove some teams around next year, I feel like.
He absolutely has them going in the right direction without a shadow of a doubt.
100%.
That opening press conference, I think, left everybody a little weirded out by him. Which that is what it is. That's nerves. That's all that kind of stuff going into it. But
it's excitement.
You watch the post game press conferences, right? That he does after wins. Dude, that locker room loves him.
Yeah.
That's all you really need. And then of course you go win. You do have a heartbreaker in the wild card, especially with that kind of record. That does stink. But absolute and total upside for the Jags next year, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like, man, it's like how even if you're not a fan of the Jags, how can you not root for a guy like Liam Cohen? Like he seems like a guy I'd want to back. Like I'd be perfectly fine being a player of Liam Cohen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that comes out in the way that they play. If you don't like the coach, you play kind of lazy. That's just the way it is. All right, let's go into game 2. Who was game 2?
Game 2, it was that was the Rams Panthers.
Oh my gosh.
What did I say about the Rams Panthers game, my friend?
You are bonkers, dude. This is where the craziness started. He said it's going to be super close.
You said,
Um,
"Oh, it's gonna be a curb stomping of the Rams here." I told you I had that gut feeling, man.
yeah,
I
I
said,
got nothing.
"Man, Carolina's gonna put up a fight, man. I'm telling you."
They did, man, and they looked good.
They
They looked
did. It was a
really,
fantastic
really
game,
good.
man.
I honestly felt like they were gonna pull it out at the end, and then, you know,
That would have been one game that I would have humbly took a wrong pick for because, man, I was rooting so hard that when they were winning like 30, 31, 28 in the fourth quarter before Matt
yeah,
Stafford threw that touchdown. I was like, "Oh my
yeah,
gosh, they're actually gonna do it!" And then MVP Stafford shows up.
yeah. Stafford does what Stafford does. Yeah, amazing game. I mean, even as a Falcons guy, it was hard not to root for the Panthers and the show that they put on. I am a huge fan of Dave Canales. I really like him as a coach. Even from his opening press conference, he was really, I don't know, he was just enticing and exciting to watch come into that place. And I think he's doing really great things. I mean, Bryce Young, nobody knew what he was going to be. Um, of course, every high draft pick comes with high expectations, but he really fell down a little bit for quite a while there. And he is starting to really build back up. They got some key pieces around them with wide receivers. They have the run game going. It looked really, really well put together. I was very, very surprised by the show that the Panthers put on.
I will say, I mean, I think I predicted, I think I said 31-28 Rams is what I said. It
Yeah.
surprised me the Rams even or the Panthers put up 30. That's why
Yeah.
I was like, "Dude, holy shnikes, man." Game ended
Yeah.
34-31. Bryce Young played fantastic that entire game. It's like Panthers defense, props to them too because their defense was playing
Oh, they did
fantastic
great.
till the final whistle. Like,
Yep.
yeah, man, it just shows you like just for like because your big thing is any given Sunday. It's like, man, I even said to you, I'm like, could you imagine the world if the Panthers upset the Rams in the first round? And it just about happened. So
It
that's what I
really
said,
did.
man, you can never count out any single team whenever especially when you're going into the playoffs. You can never count out any single team.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, that's one thing as a coach that I say, you have players that, see really established teams or undefeated teams, and it's a mental game. It's having that mentality that it doesn't really matter who they played before. It doesn't matter what your score was last year. It's going in with that fighter mentality, not the flight mentality, and putting up a fight and not quitting for 4 quarters. And when you do it at whatever level, high school, college, pros, good things can happen when you work together. And that's what the Panthers showed on Sunday. You know what I
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
realized? I
What up?
just realized that we started with Sunday games and not Saturdays. Um, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I'm trying to think about it. We talked about the Chargers Patriots, the Bills
Oh,
Jags, and
so
then
fantastic.
well, yeah, and I thought the Rams and Panthers were on Saturday. My bad. I didn't
Were they?
realize.
Were
Yeah,
they? I don't remember.
I th
Maybe they were because we missed the Green Bay
was there Green
Chicago
Bay and
game.
Chicago, and then yeah, it
Let's
was
hit.
because then the 49ers and Eagles were the 4 PM game on Sunday.
Yeah. So we're gonna bounce back and forth then. Let's go
Okay,
back to Green Bay and Chicago. We're just
let's
messing. We're keeping everybody on their toes. This is how wild of a weekend it was, people. Right?
you
This is
never know
how
what's happening on
wild
the
it
Uplets
was.
podcast. You're never ready for it.
No, like we weren't ready for the Panthers. It was
No one was
anyway,
apparently.
let's go to Green
Green Bay,
Bay and
Chicago.
Chicago. And I'm just gonna point out, just because it is absolutely phenomenal, something that we learned throughout that game is that Delightful Derek is a Chicago Bears fan.
Yes, absolutely.
And for
We are
anybody that doesn't know, Stranger Things, Delightful Derek,
we are very
Chicago
big
Bears fan
fans
of
of
Derek.
Delightful Derek. Derek, if you ever listen to this, we'd
Yes,
love to have you on the pod sometime, man.
absolutely, dude. It was
Send us
it was cool. Just to see him there having a good time. It was great. Love his character on the show.
yeah.
But anyway, let's get back to the
That's it,
game.
back to
So we
football game.
have crazy battle. And I'm going to keep a lot of my opinions to myself here because I can go off the rails really quick when it comes to a specific coach in this game. Matt or LaFleur, love you. Wish they would have canned you so you could have came back to Atlanta and done things right. However,
I could say the
I'll
same
leave the
thing,
other.
just take out the Atlanta part.
Yeah, I'll leave the other coach out of this conversation. Dislike him very much. Um, anyway, it was a fantastic game. It really was. I mean, the weird thing about the Bears all season long is all of their comebacks, the way that they didn't quit. I mean, that is to be commended. That is very difficult to do time and time and time and time again, especially in a playoff game in the NFL. To come back like they did and pull out the win over Green Bay was absolutely heartbreaking for Green Bay Packers fans.
Yeah, man, it's like I understand. And I know in the past too, I haven't been the biggest Caleb Williams fan, and that's no for no particular reason. I just haven't been a fan of him, simply put. But man, I tell you, that dude. So two things about Caleb Williams in that game. Number one, mentally, he was not prepared for that game whatsoever. The whole time,
It
he's just
didn't seem like it anyway.
on the sideline, on the field. He's just flipping out at either himself or his teammates or his coaches. He was not mentally prepared for that game. He still has a lot of growing to do in this league. On the other hand, he can absolutely ball whenever he wants to. Like he drove the Bears down the field so many times. I still am going to stand by what I say, and I know Bears fans are going to be upset because there's forever going to be an asterisk in this game. What if Micah Parsons played? I still think it is a whole different game if Micah Parsons played, because I've seen so many plays when Caleb Williams is on the run and Rashawn Gary's trying as hard as he can. He just can't get there. I know Micah Parsons is a lot faster than Rashawn Gary. So,
And the additional pocket pressure that just naturally would have occurred, right? Like,
well, yeah, because you always have in the
this
back of your
is
head, Micah Parsons is standing over.
yeah, this is where the injuries really come into play, and that it bit Green Bay, unfortunately. And I do think Green Bay honestly would have won if he was there. Um, but again, offensively, Green Bay was very underwhelming. Honestly, they
It's,
were. The run
yeah,
game hasn't been good in weeks. With Josh Jacobs or anybody else, they just has not been good.
yeah,
And
that's weird to me too. Because it's like you
the
have someone who's so talented as Josh Jacobs and you just can't move the ball.
yeah, and I don't even know if it's him. Like the gaps aren't there, and if they are, they really don't last very long. Um, Jordan Love doesn't look like he has a ton of fire right now. Like when he's out there playing, he's usually pretty even keeled. But
I have him on the same level as Jalen Hurts, as in the sense of they're very talented quarterbacks. They're just not exciting to watch. And
could be,
it's nothing against them. It's just some players, it's like they could be one of the best in the league, and you just watch them and you're just not that like entertained. It's like they never
yeah,
do anything where like they throw like a 60-yard touchdown like on the money, or just they run for like a big explosive run. It's like they get in there and they do their job. And like
yeah,
that's all you need to do at the end of the day. It's just they're
it
not
is.
he's just not exciting to watch for me. And
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but that's just how I
like
feel.
I was more excited watching Malik Willis the week before, and
Yeah.
I think that's just because you don't see him very often. You know what I mean? Like he's
Well,
usually
whenever
on the
like
bench.
quarterbacks come out of nowhere and like they start lighting it up, and maybe they're like Malik Willis, like he has a lot more of a run factor than what Jordan Love does. So it's like whenever you see a quarterback run, it's always like, oh, but yeah, it's always fun seeing him play.
So Bears end up moving on. Looks like the Packers, and we'll get into this with the coaching stuff. Looks like the Packers are going to look to extend LaFleur, um, which I know how people get, and they're very impatient and they're not happy. He is a very good football coach.
He is.
I don't think he lost the locker room. I think he's very, very much still there and alive. Um, didn't really see a need for a change. He's been extremely successful since he's been there. But we'll talk about that again later. So Bears move on.
They're going to be taking
I
on
th-
the Rams the
yes, they are.
this upcoming weekend. I mean,
Yeah. Um, so
and
I
the
mean, like I said, these games were crazy. Another close one it was too. So it was
yeah,
back and forth, back and forth. Anybody really could have won. Um, who do we have next?
the
Trying
final
to
game
remember.
I do, or no, we have two games left.
We have two games
The
left.
earlier one, 49ers Eagles, that I said was I'm like, man, I'm not interested in watching this game at all. And you can even attest to that because whenever we got to the hotel, me and mom immediately went to get McDonald's while the game was happening.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, it was
It
fun,
was
I
fine.
guess.
It was fine.
It was a fun football
The
game, 23-19.
Yeah, I mean, it was really close. Unfortunately, George Kittle went down, popped his Achilles, so
Yeah,
he is
that
done.
sucks.
Love George Kittle, such a fun guy to watch play. You could tell how much he loves just the game and being in that element.
That's what I mean. That's
Um,
what it sucks the most about too. Is like he may be like done, and now it's George Kittle, so obviously I think he definitely wants to keep playing. But it's like, man, you get to a point, he's at least 30, if not he's over it, and it's like, man,
yeah,
he's regardless of the way you slice it, it's like he's coming to the end of his career here, and that might just do it, which would
yeah.
really suck.
It's a tough injury to come back from, especially. I mean, we've seen so many, right? We saw Rodgers try to do it with the Jets. Didn't work out that well. You saw the first season or last season, I should say, with Cousins coming back from his. Kirk Cousins was not the same last year. This year, he looked, when he got his opportunity, looked a lot more comfortable. And that's typically how it is after an Achilles injury like that. It takes a lot longer than when the doc says you're cleared to go play to gain that confidence and that stability in that ankle, getting stepped on, getting rolled over, making cuts or anything. And the physical guy that Kittle is and running routes and jumping and coming down on it, I think it's going to take a little bit more time than what people think. So I doubt he'll be ready for camp. But from the game side of things,
What
I think
what
I
is
mentioned,
there's a
I
lot
think I
going over in
mentioned,
Philly.
I would say with Philly, like I mentioned the last one, like the O line isn't the same O line. Saquon isn't able to run like Saquon. Jalen Hurts, in my opinion, is an average quarterback.
Dude,
Plain and simple.
I mean, I not actually, but like, man, I should be a gambling man because let me tell you something. What did I say last episode? I said Jalen Hurts, I'm telling you, is not going to pass for over 170 yards. You want to know how many yards he got? 168. You can go fact check that. You can go take it to the bank. You can go look it up yourself. Jalen Hurts, 168 passing yards. I told you, he is just not an entertaining quarterback to watch. He goes in, he gets the job done sometimes, and he's not exciting to watch. I said not over 170 yards, got 168. Let's move the topic for a quick second to the whole AJ Brown debacle that's going on right now.
Yes, gotta love
My
that.
goodness. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't see a scenario seriously where he is there next year by the time the season starts.
Now, when you walk out looking at talking stuff about your coach, um, your
Almost fighting
two
your coach
favorite,
on the sideline.
I'm gonna say your two favorite teammates in the locker room, you leave jerseys for them in their locker before you even leave that same exact day. He is checked out and he is done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you save that relationship. Now, again, we'll get into coaching stuff. They did fire their OC, which everybody wanted, was
Yeah.
not, I honestly was not a good fit for what they do, or what they used to do. So we'll see what pans out there. But the Eagles, mostly this season, did not look like the Eagles of the past couple years. And that catches up with teams. All that success, it does. Look at Kansas City. Theirs lasted a little bit longer. Look at the way that things changed. Not just this year because of people being injured. You have to do a good job as a head coach. Philly has probably the best GM in all of football, bringing in talented players and talented draft picks, making ridiculous moves that nobody thinks is possible. Look at Kansas City. All the success that they had, they did it with a few really, really, really good to great players and a lot of guys that were very instrumental pieces, but not big names. When you look at the 19 to 20 years of the Patriots with Brady, how many times did he have star-studded all-pro wide receivers? They were able to do it with smaller pieces and get stuff done. That's on coaching. That's on mentality. That is on the way that they are taught to go play. That is the way that they carry themselves. That is not a Philly mentality.
No, man, and like I said, I'm just like I don't see a way where it's like where AJ Brown's there next year. Like, I'm just gonna repeat
No,
myself, but I don't see a way that he's there next year. I think he's gonna be a draft night trade if I had to make my best guess because somebody's gonna want to get him regardless of his attitude.
somebody will take him.
Because
Absolutely.
I mean, it's man, he made a fool out of himself. If we're just being honest, it's like, man, you cry and complain and whine for how much you don't get the ball. You get the ball and all you do is drop it the whole game. And it's like,
That's true.
what are we doing here, man? I mean, there were multiple times you even see during the game. It's like he's open or not. You don't even need to be open. He has the ball in his hands and he just drops it. And it's
Yeah.
like
But the
you,
thing is when you want to play for a contender and you have Devonta Smith, you have Dallas Goddard, you have Barkley, that's limiting your opportunities. And guess what? When you're winning championships, you kind of forget that you weren't getting the ball so much. So when hard times come, which they came by this year, that really came to light. And I don't think their head coach has the mentality to put those fires out.
I'm.
Plain and
I,
simple.
I've said it for the longest time, and you agree, you 100% agree with me. Now, I'm not a fan of Sirianni at all.
No, no.
I think
They were a very good team, and you can give him whatever flowers you want to give him. Um, he has that typical Philly mentality. Like, I'm gonna be loud, and I'm gonna be noisy, um, borderline cocky and arrogant. That's just the way it, and then it's fine. Like, I'm not saying against Philly fans or anything like that. Just that is what it is. That's the region. I know that. I live in PA. I mean, um, and that's fine. But from a head coach, you need to have a little something else, and he doesn't have it.
no, it's you need. I don't think it's anything drastic like he's gonna get fired or something like that. I mean, I
Not
think
yet.
he, I think he fits. Well, I don't think he's gonna get fired because they just won the Super Bowl last year. So I think if they had missed the playoffs last year, I think okay, he probably would be on the hot seat this year. But
Yeah.
it's like if I were the Eagles, I would try and get rid of AJ Brown like as not as quick as I could, but for like as much as I could, like as much as I could
Yeah.
get out of it. And that's what I'm
Yep.
saying. Like I think he'll be for the second time in his career, he'll be a draft night trade. And
Yeah.
I think honestly, I because they're gonna get value out of him because he's still a talented receiver at the end of the day whenever he wants to catch the ball. But it's yeah, man, there's a lot of I think bridges are burning down over there in Philadelphia that can't be built back up.
Yeah. I think they're going to make some personnel changes. They of course have some coaching changes coming. I think a lot of his future is also going to depend on who fills all these other teams as head coaching spots that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Because you can imagine like stuff is changing in Pittsburgh. Well, what if Arthur Smith goes back somewhere? There's rumors of maybe Tennessee being reinterested in Arthur Smith. Well, guess who had him in Tennessee last time he was there? Arthur Smith. That's probably going to actually be a pretty good matchup. Give Cam Ward yet another receiver to go throw to. It's actually a really good fit if they can handle the attitude and the diva in him to, I don't know, kind of appease whatever his needs are.
Yeah, and it's like it's a similar situation that like whenever with like Buffalo and Stephon Diggs. It's
Yes.
like whenever things are going good, they're going great, but whenever they're going bad, they're awful. And it's
Yeah.
like because you even saw like the freaking divisional round loss to the Bengals that one year the Bills had. It's like Diggs is on the sideline, just throwing his arms up in the air, yelling to Josh, and it's like you can kind of tell in the moment. It's like, oh, that's probably it for Diggs to Buffalo then.
Yeah.
I think this honestly borderlines on the same situation. It's like during the game, whenever stuff's not going AJ Brown's way, he's just yelling at Sirianni. Sirianni's running down the sideline to yell back at him because that's who Sirianni is, and it's just
Yes, exactly.
it gives me the same kind of vibes like AJ Brown and the Eagles. I get the same kind of vibes with Diggs and Buffalo. It's just it's a whole thing, man.
Yeah, they'll make some changes. I mean, it's like I said, the GM is one of the, if not the best in the past couple of years, making trades, drafting properly, doing his thing. So I'm sure he'll get some kind of deal for him. I don't think that's going to be any kind of issue there, but With the game, though, the Niners pull it out without George Kittle. Some fancy things from Jawan Jennings and Christian McCaffrey once
Oh, that was
again pulling
beautiful. That
them
was a beautiful
through
pass too.
in spite of the Brock Purdy interceptions, the I don't know, Brock Purdy miscues. They were able to overcome that. The defense balled out, played a heck of a game, and San Francisco gets to move on yet again.
Yep. And I
Um,
also said too, I'm like I told you, man, it's going to be an NFC West battle in the second round. I said that in our other
sure
episode
is.
too. It's going to be
It
an NFC
sure
West
is.
battle again. Seahawks 49ers.
Yep. So
Yeah,
let's
we
come
got
down to the
one
final
more
game,
game.
which actually was the final game. Again, we're
Yep.
back on track
There we go.
to Monday night, Pittsburgh Steelers against the Houston Texans. Now, this is one that I said it's like Houston Texans are just going to absolutely walk all over Pittsburgh. At the end, they kind of did. When
I was
things hit the fan, they really hit the fan.
I was gonna say that. I was like, if you would have said that for like the first like half, or honestly maybe even like 3 quarters, it's like,
Yes.
man, it was looking like
Again, I was wrong.
what I was. Well, again, it was like, what is happening with Houston right now? And it's what we know what was wrong with Houston, but it's like, man, what is happening with Houston right now? And then you get that fumble six, and then the defense stops them again. Offense capitalizes, stops them again. Offense capitalizes, and then once they got that fumble six from the big 300-pounder, man, it's just it kept piling on.
It
It finally
rolled.
looked like the Houston finally had life there. And I will say this, man, it's just CJ Stroud. What the heck happened in that game, dude? I mean, he looked like he was trying to lose the game for Houston, if we're just being honest.
Do you want to know what it really looked like to me? It really looked like the game where Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts. It looked like he was completely and utterly lost and mentally defeated because of the first mistake that he made. He was trying to do way too much instead of being who CJ Stroud is. Instead of escaping, he has the ability to run, and he refused, it seemed like, to do that in the first half, which was multiple fumbles, picks, and it was leaving Pittsburgh in the game. Thankfully for the Texans, their defense is absolutely phenomenal. When you have Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson just absolutely destroying the offensive line and just about every offensive line in the NFL. I think that is one of the most dangerous defenses left. And potentially, honestly, it was all season once they started getting on a roll. It's gonna be difficult to handle, I think, for the rest of the time that they're in the playoffs.
Yeah, man. I mean, it just as long as CJ Stroud can just figure out what he's doing and just not get in his head so much, it's like, man, they're because that defense was there to play. And you could see that from the first whistle to the last one. Their defense was there to play. And it's as like I said, as long as CJ Stroud can just find his rhythm again, they're going to be perfectly fine through the playoffs. And yeah, now we move on to the Pittsburgh side of things. And I understand you're not the biggest fan of either of them, but this most likely being Aaron Rodgers' final game and what ended up being Mike Tomlin's final game as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach, man, it's whether you like him, and isn't directed to you, but like whether you like him or whether you hated both of them, it's they've done so much for the game of football. And it's like
That is the truth.
you can't deny it. Like if you just say they didn't, then you're just straight up wrong. Like you
Yeah.
like I said, you don't have to like them, you don't have to hate them, but you need to respect them because they've both done so much with both of them. Individually, just getting a ring, both absolutely being surefire Hall of Famers as soon as they both want to call it quits. It's like, man, my hat goes off to both of them because as I haven't been the biggest fan of Aaron Rodgers, but I can definitely respect what he's done in the NFL because he's probably top 5 all time in like quarterbacks, I would say. If not, it's definitely debatable. You could do that. Mike Tomlin, I'd say, is definitely top 5 head coaches all time.
Yeah, I think, Aaron Rodgers, he's the way he comes off now seems different. I think it's just the world that we live in today. He's very much old school. His best years were absolutely past him. Um, some games it looked like he had some left. You could see the frustration that immediately started in this game and that carried over play after play after play with getting I mean, he got rocked a couple times. He was constantly under pressure. There's really not he doesn't have the legs anymore. There's really not much you could do there. Um, no, I think it's time for him honestly to kind of call it quits and retire and 5 years he'll be on the Hall of Fame. Mike Tomlin, I really like Mike Tomlin. I really, really do. I think he was an amazing football coach. I think he is an amazing leader. I think he's a good human. I think he's a great dude. I think yes, winning seasons, but almost 500, 50-50 kind of seasons, so many in a row. Exits in the wild card, I think just caught up to him. I mean, geez, 19 consecutive winning seasons. I mean, when are we ever going to see that again? I don't know. Um, you go watch videos on Tomlin on YouTube or anything else, and just a phenomenal football mind, phenomenal guy. Um, definitely a change, definitely a change coming for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's almost like a out with the old, in with the new kind of thing. So that was just the latest wrench in the head coaching carousel. Um, ever since the Monday after or Sunday, if you want to start it, because Atlanta kind of kicked that off with getting rid of Morris. The Sunday of the final day of the regular season. So with that being said, um,
Talk about the
Texans
wonderful world.
Texans move on.
Yep.
Like I said, we'll do another episode talking about our little preview and talk about this weekend's games. Let's jump into the coaching
Move on
carousel
to the wonderful
craziness.
world of like the 8 to 10 teams that don't have a head coach at the moment.
So why don't you run down the list of all of them that were let go, or should I say let go and one that quote unquote stepped down?
Yeah, I was about to say let me count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. It was 7.
Yeah.
So, yep, started out the 4 hours after the game had just ended. The Falcons fired Raheem Morris. Then, not too while after, maybe the first one that was like, maybe to some people was surprising. The Browns fired Kevin Stefanski. And I think,
Yep.
honestly, like, out of all head coaches, I think he's top 2, probably like getting like the most phone calls, like getting hired first. I think he's probably like top 2 in that conversation, maybe competing with another one we'll talk about here in a bit. Another one that I think was definitely surprising for some people was the one and done over in Las Vegas. Pete Carroll got the boot after
Yeah.
one season. And
That's
I
pretty
remember,
crazy.
I remember we talked about it, and I was telling you, I'm like, dude, I seriously think he could be one and done. You're like, oh, I just don't see that happening. It's like, and then he does get the one and done. It's like it is honestly crazy though.
I never would have guessed it, just with his background and the all the winning that he has done in the league. To get rid of a guy like that after one is a difficult. So I think something else is behind. I don't have connections like that, but it yeah, it is. It's very, very surprising. Maybe he's done coaching. Who knows?
He might be. I mean, I think he's like 71 to like 73, I think.
Yeah.
I think I think he might just be done after this one. Another one that I personally wouldn't say was super surprising, but the Cardinals fired Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yep.
man, it's like whether you did or didn't, if people catch you on video punching a player on the sideline, it's not going to go over well. So,
Exactly.
and I'm not saying that's like the main reason they got fired. I'm not saying that at all, but it's just, man, the couple of years inconsistency there at Arizona and just like nothing happening whenever you get hired by an NFL team, they expect change in some sort of way. It may not be immediate, it may be long term. You may go from a 3-win season to a 5-win season. As long as you see improvement, that's all they care about when they hire you. With the Cardinals, they're just wasn't improvement. Kyler didn't pop off into the superstar that he was supposed to be like 6 years ago now. It's just, I think it was time for him to go there, Jonathan Gannon.
Yep.
Next, and then probably what was the most surprising one to a lot of people. I mean, I personally, I think, again, told you, I'm like, I think it's going to happen, but I mean, I would still be surprised. The Ravens giving the boot to John Harbaugh after being there
Yeah.
for nearly as long as Mike Tomlin was, I think.
I think it was 18 years, I think it was.
That's what I mean. It's like, man, he's probably my number one head coach candidate, I would say, in free agency right now. That's what I said. I'm like, I think it's between him and Stefanski, like our top two.
Yeah, I agree. I think me personally, if I had to choose between the two, I would take Stefanski. Um, I'm not a big Harbaugh fan, but it's interesting. Like we just talked about the Tomlin one for Tomlin and Harbaugh, such long-term staples in their organization and that community. They won a lot over almost 2 decades. And before you know it, just like that, they're both gone. Both of those teams, I mean, I think Baltimore has a few more good pieces on their squad that makes them, I think, a little more attractive than what Pittsburgh is. Because you got to think Pittsburgh, you're coming into, gosh, you probably got to go get a QB. You got to figure out wide receiver. You got to,
Yeah.
O line needs some work. Your defense is okay. Um, but the Ravens have solid pieces in all three phases. I think it's a more complete team right now.
Yeah, I definitely
So
think
we'll
so.
see what happens. But yeah, adding Harbaugh to that's a surprising one.
Yeah. And then another one, I guess maybe people could probably say was
No,
surprising. I personally wasn't feeling it, but
no,
Dolphins giving Mike McDaniel the boot then. It's just,
yeah,
that was another one that it's just like, man, it was just time to go. He had that 1 year, I think it was the year that he came in, I do believe, is whenever they almost beat the Bills in the playoffs. Skylar Thompson led. And
yep,
ever since that year, it's just been nothing at all.
yeah. I don't think it's surprising that he's gone. I was a little caught off guard because I want to say it was a day, maybe 2 days before he got fired, that they said he was going to be involved in finding the GM.
Yeah.
So that I was like, okay, they're keeping him. And then, of course, they go and they hire John Eric Sullivan as the general manager. And then before you know it, Mike McDaniel gets fired. So I don't,
Yeah.
it was just, that's what kind of caught me off guard with that one. I don't think he had the locker room anymore. I don't think he's had it for a little while. Um, and yeah, and regardless of what pieces he had, he was honestly completely connected to Tua. And if Tua didn't succeed, then he was going to succeed. And that happens a lot in the NFL with quarterbacks. A coach gets tied to a quarterback. If they don't succeed, guess who usually gets caught on the line there? The head coach. You could say that with Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson. Did they win any Super Bowls since Lamar got drafted? No, he's a 2-time MVP. Well, is it a Lamar problem or is it a Harbaugh problem? Well, it's much easier to change out the head coach than a franchise quarterback, right? So
Yeah.
that's just the world that it is. But that's a lot of head coaches. And then we even have
And then we had
um,
the,
offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators that are all getting swapped out everywhere. There's a
yeah.
lot of coaches looking for jobs right now, and they're good coaches. They're
Yeah.
very good coaches. I think some of them are going to find some really good homes that could probably help other teams excel. And most of them, to be honest with you, based off of how an offense performed or how a defense performed or underperformed, was pretty clear, right? Like I mentioned earlier, the Eagles, of course, really recently just fired their OC, Kevin Patullo. That's been a long time coming. You look at the Cowboys fired their defensive coordinator. You have Cliff Kingsbury stepped down at the Commanders. They also fired
I
their
was about to say, yeah, then
DC.
they fired their DC. That's what I mean. They're cleaning house over there.
Then they hired David Blau as the new offensive coordinator. So he gets a
I say
great
that was,
opportunity to go from a player to a coach,
I was
which
about to
is
say, that
I think is going
was
to be
an
fun to
interesting
see.
hire. It was
Yeah, I
very
think it'll be
interesting.
fun to see though. He's a super smart guy. You were able to see that in Hard Knocks with the Lions when he was there.
Yeah.
Really, really smart dude. Speaking of Lions, they fired their offensive coordinator. Um, DQ was calling plays for quite a while. He doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So they're looking at a new OC. The Bucks fired their OC and their special teams coordinator. I do know, like Zach Robinson, the current OC for the Falcons, already interviewed with the Bucks. So we'll see if he ends up going in the same division. There's just so many moving pieces. I think this offseason, and to be honest, I mean this postseason that we're in now, it's going to be a very exciting one. You're getting a lot of new GMs. You're getting a lot of new coaches in all different areas. Then you have the draft, right? And we're not going to get talking there yet, but then you get the draft coming. I think it's going to be a really exciting offseason going into the next season. But we'll see what happens. I mean, you have the Falcons are still looking for their head coach and their GM. Me personally, I think they're waiting until Kubiak is available with the Seahawks. I think they keep interviewing people with literally nothing coming out about any of them, which is usually a little odd. You usually hear like, "Oh, that went really well," or "That didn't go well." And
Right. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of teams that are going to be waiting until a couple of these coaches get done with that are still left in the playoffs. Clint Kubiak being the number one. Um, we'll see what happens. I know there's a lot of guys that have been interviewing while they were on bye weeks, and we'll probably see them go some places.
I was gonna say, I noticed today I saw that was Jim Harbaugh went into interview with the Giants in person for the first time today. So I saw
Yeah, they
that and
said they
I'm
weren't going to let him leave the building.
yeah, I was about to say I man, it's like I don't know if we want to do like some predictions or something this episode, maybe like where we think some certain people are gonna go. I think that could make it a
Well,
little
let's
fun.
talk about. I think we'll talk about it. I think. Um, I think I always thought Harbaugh would go to the Giants or the Dolphins.
Yeah,
It made
definitely.
sense. I mean, I
Yeah.
could see the Dolphins making a change at QB. He would be able to pick one, draft one higher, get a good choice, start over in Florida, or the Giants. I mean, who doesn't love Dart and Scatabo? I mean, honestly, it's a great duo. Very solid at their positions. They showed that this year as rookies. Both really dinged up, but should be able to get healthy in the offseason and come back strong. He's probably going to end up with the Giants, if I had to guess. That's
That would
that's the
probably be
mo
my
of
best
the
guess too, yeah.
that's the mo of the owner is let's get a really good experienced coach in there. They tried the new guys, with bringing Dable on originally as a head coach from an OC position.
And he did fine
Uh,
his first couple of years.
yeah, and what was the other guy's name?
Like Joe something.
He's yeah, he's a college coach now.
But I remember who you're talking about, but I don't remember his name
Yeah,
either.
Joe Judge.
Joe Judge, that's what it was, yes.
So they went through these times of let's try these new guys, right? Let's try to get a younger guy in there, a little bit of extra flavor. Now they got these now I think they're in the time where like let's go get a proven winner and let's
Yeah.
put it with these new guys, these new players because the Giants honestly have a solid core now. The last couple of drafts I think they did really really well. Let's pair them up with a good coach.
Yeah. I was gonna shift over to another one that I, just thought of. I've always been thinking about this one for a while. I think for the Atlanta fans, I think they might get their wish, and I think Stefanski is gonna go to Atlanta. That might be, like, a little bit of a hot take, but that one kinda just it kinda sits right with me. Like, Stefanski
Yeah.
is the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. That's like I think that's where he's probably gonna go.
I could see that. I really think for Atlanta it's going to be between Stefanski and Clint Kubiak. Clint Kubiak has ties and friendships and relationships with Matt Ryan, mostly from his dad, Gary Kubiak. And Matt and Atlanta are all about relationships. It's what they've always been about. Matt is very, very strongly opinionated with that. So I could see maybe that one could take a little bit more precedence over anything else. Um, but we'll see. Either Kubiak or Stefanski, to be honest with you, I would be fine with in Atlanta. I think they're both good picks, and we'll just have to see what plays out. But I don't think there's really, to me anyway, I don't think there's any other choices for Atlanta at this point. They've interviewed a lot of coaches already. Um, Matt already said he doesn't care if they're offensive minded or defensive minded. here's a hot take for you, okay? Because it gets aggravating after a while. If that head coach, offensive or defensive, is not the one calling the plays,
Doesn't
why
matter.
does it matter who is offensively or defensively strong?
Yeah, and you want a good
Most
example of that? Go look at the Jets.
most head coaches do not call the plays. They go get really good coordinators that actually call the plays.
That's that do that job for them.
Yeah. Well, because a head coach's job isn't necessarily to call plays. It's to
Yeah,
organize and
as
structure and run the team. That's what that is for. Game management and all that kind of stuff. But it's always like, oh, we need an offensive minded head coach. We need a defensive. Who cares if they're not calling the plays?
yeah. That's what I mean, and that's what I said, like, just now. I'm like, and, like, the biggest example of that is, like, go look at the Jets. You get Aaron Glenn, who's a defensive-minded head coach, get 0 interceptions for the first time since interceptions became a thing. And so
Yeah.
it's like, if they're not I completely agree with you. They're not calling the plays, what does it matter at the end of the day? It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe they can give in, like, their 2 cents for how they feel about stuff. If they're not calling the plays, they're not calling the plays, though. So, like, it doesn't
Exactly.
go get the guy that's best fit for the head coach position.
Go go get the best coach.
Yes.
Period.
If you want a guy who's gonna be, "Oh, he's a defensive mastermind," go get him for defensive coordinator then. It's like, don't get him to just call the whole team. Get him to call
Yes.
that one certain section.
Yes. So while we were talking about the Jets, I was going to point this out because we do have a listener that is a Jets fan that commented on our last episode because we really made a big deal about the
About the no
Jets and
interceptions
no
thing.
interceptions. He asked, why is no one talking about the Jets and the fact that they had 0 wide receivers with more than 400 yards of receiving this season, which is it is ridiculous. First, to not have one receiver with over 400 yards is absolutely crazy to think about in today's NFL, where it is such a pass heavy game.
So, my answer for that one is after the first week, the Jets, Pittsburgh game, I thought Justin Fields was gonna tear it up there in New York because he aside from, like, the final play there, he looked fantastic in that game.
Yeah.
Then he does decent to, like, bad. Then he gets hurt, and then you gotta go put in Brady Cook, who I don't even think would succeed in the XFL. Like, Brady Cook played awful, and it's the Jets need a quarterback that's been in the league and knows what he's doing. They keep
Yeah.
over the past couple of years, they keep trying to take these gambles, Zach Wilson being the biggest name out of that. He was the 2nd overall pick. He's somewhere around the league now. I think last time I checked, he was the backup in Miami. I don't know if he's still there, but man, it's like you do that. Okay. He said, all right, skip Justin Fields or skip Zach Wilson then. Let's go get Aaron Rodgers. He then blows out his Achilles in the first game and then he doesn't do anything. The next year, he plays for the Jets again, still doesn't really do anything.
He's not back from that.
And then you move on, you go get Justin Fields, who was coming off a decently successful season in Pittsburgh and looked
Yeah, he
like
did well.
he finally was doing what he was supposed to be doing when he was with the Bears. It's like, oh, it was the system that he was in because when he was with Pittsburgh, he did good. He goes to Jets, he does bad again. Then you go into Brady Cook, he looked awful. It's like they need to go get a guy that's like 25 to like 28 that knows what he's doing.
Yep.
They can't just keep banking on these young guys or these really old guys to just pick it up like that and just go figure out what they're doing.
Exactly. To get back on the coach's situation, I do think Cliff Kingsbury is going to get his second shot at being a head coach. I think it's either going to be in Tennessee or it's going to be in Miami. It's got to be one of the two. I think he just fits well in both of those scenarios. Um, I think he has an opportunity to go get one of those spots. Uh, Jonathan Gannon, however, I think is going to go back to being a coordinator. I do not believe he's going to get another head coaching opportunity in this round, specifically this year.
No, I mean, I, the Cliff Kingsbury one, that one's kind of interesting to me because it's like, I could see him still being a coordinator somewhere. I feel like, honestly,
Yeah.
because like, He was definitely better than Jonathan Gannon when he was in Arizona, I think. I don't know if that's a hot take to anybody, but that's just my personal thing. As I think he was better than Jonathan Gannon when he was in Arizona, but no, Jonathan Gannon, I think, he was a defensive coordinator before he was a head coach, I think. From that's at least from my knowledge anyways. I think he was a defensive
He might have
coordinator.
been. I can't remember.
He fits like how you kind of just have like a feeling for like some certain guys whenever it comes to like where they should be like
Yeah,
coordinating wise. I get the feeling from Jonathan Gannon he should be a coordinator over a head coach. I don't
yeah,
think he should be the guy that's in charge of like the whole show. I think he should be a guy that's just in charge of one of the sections of the show. So
yep,
yeah. I agree to disagree on the Cliff Kingsbury one, but I think for Jonathan Gannon, I think he's definitely going to just be a coordinator somewhere else.
yeah. Um, Mike McDaniel is the next interesting one. He had success, and then he didn't have success. Um, I would love to see him as a coordinator and remove all that additional pressure and stress and allow him to go do what he does best. I think it's a perfect example of just because you're a great coordinator doesn't mean you should be a head coach. I
See a
think
lot of
he's
for
a
people in the
perfect
back.
yeah, he's a perfect example of that. I think he did amazing at the beginning, which when it's a new head coach, there's a lot of different kinds of energy that goes on
I was about to say there's
until
usually a
things
lot
start
of
to hit.
excitement. There's usually a lot of excitement involved whenever you get a new guy running the show. You know what I mean? And it's with Mike McDaniel. I mean, I think it's a match made in heaven. Honestly, it's offensive coordinator for the Lions. That would be my best thing for Mike McDaniel, and that's where I think I see that combination. And I'm just like, I think that's just it fits perfectly.
I
For
think
Mike
it does
McDaniel,
too.
the new OC over in Detroit, you got a lot of talented guys. If you want to run the ball, which is something you couldn't really do in Miami that much, you want to run the ball with Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery, whoever it may be. It's like you have that option now, and then you got Jared Goff,
Yeah.
who's a certified gunslinger, and it's like, man, it's a fantastic
I
situation to
would
go into.
I would personally love to see him as the OC in Atlanta. Um,
You
he's
would never
dealt
want
with
to
a
go to
lefty.
Atlanta.
He's dealt with a lefty quarterback before. He understands how that works. He's quick with the ball. He's got Robinson in the backfield. He's got good pass catchers, a good offensive line, which Miami has had trouble with. I think it's a really good spot. Like my overall is I would love Clint Kubiak as a head coach. I would love Mike McDaniel as the offensive coordinator, and I want Ulbrich to stay as the DC. To me in Atlanta, I think that would make an amazing overall team and administration to that org. I'm probably not going to get any of them, but Mike McDaniel to Detroit does seem like a fit. I think he's a good fit under DQ or I'm too tired. My buddy Dan, my buddy Dan. I think he's a good fit for the Lions. I think he doesn't need to have a mobile quarterback with his scheme. Um, Jameer Gibbs is a blessing for anybody. Let's be honest about that. And then you have amazing receivers with JMO, with Amon Ra. Um, maybe Laporta rejuvenates his career from his rookie year. You just don't know. But it's a lot of weapons for him to come in and do some fun things with. And I think it also goes back to like Ben Johnson was a creative guy with them. Mike McDaniel is a very creative guy. That's what their offense strives on because the athleticism that they have.
Yeah, definitely. That's just going off of what I said, man. It's like Mike McDaniel. He's a very good offensive coordinator. I wouldn't say the same thing about head coach, but it's like he can get creative. And whenever you look at Detroit and you look at Ben Johnson, whenever he was there, Ben Johnson's also very creative. And it's like, I mean, if you could replicate what Ben Johnson did, like if Mike McDaniel can replicate what Ben Johnson did in Detroit, I think you go right back to where you were because the fall off of the Lions in the span of 2 years, they go from 15-2 and going in like the divisional / like championship round, whatever it was, and then they go to like 9-8 or whatever it was, and then just don't even make the playoffs. Like within a span of like 2 years, that's crazy, and that just shows you
That
how
was
much
just
like coaching.
that was last season and this season.
That's what I mean. It's like
And
it shows
that was losing Ben Johnson. I mean,
and Aaron Glenn.
the true downfall for the Lions, and that's been the last 2 years, is defensive injuries. They have
Yeah,
amazing
that too.
defensive
Yeah,
players, and for some odd reason, they lose half of them
yeah.
every single year. It's the same situation with the O-line with the Chargers. You have amazing players and they're studs, and you know they're going to take you to the next level. But then there's just one or two too many that go down that can't come back, and it blows all your plans right out of the.
Yeah, I mean, it just
That's been the story of the Lions.
there's nothing you can really do about that too. It's like you can't make any changes to like fix that. It's just you just have to hope they just don't get injured.
Exactly. Any other coaches to talk about? I think we hit most of them anyway.
Hit Harbaugh, hit Stefanski, hit Glenn.
Tomlin,
hit,
I think is going to go to TV. I don't think he's going to coach again.
I remember seeing something. I think Tomlin said I think Tomlin might be done. Like just
Yeah,
flat out.
he's going to get an offer for a TV spot.
He might take Matt's spot, CBS.
And I think he might, and he could probably take that and do really well.
He could do well with it. Honestly, he's that's what I always liked about Mike Tomlin is that he's a good personality. It's
Yes,
like
he is.
he's very eccentric whenever he's excited, but he's very quiet whenever he knows when to just like go to work.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
it's like he's a very good personality. I think he'd have a very good TV personality. I think he's probably just going to take time at the moment just to spend time with the family and just
I'm
chill
sure
out
he'll
from the
have
past
plenty of
19
time.
years. Like, I
Yep.
think that's probably his next step there. But no, yeah, I think we hit it then with everyone.
Yeah. Man,
So, I mean,
it was truly a wild time, dude. Like,
it is.
and I know I keep saying that, but it was a really, really good weekend of football. It is probably one of the best weekends of football every single year is Wildcard weekend. There's always fireworks. There's always something crazy that happens. And this year certainly didn't disappoint.
Well, yeah, because man, it's like and this is what I was saying last episode too, was like you're always getting the best of the best when it comes to playoffs, regardless of records, regardless of this, regardless of that. You're gonna get the best facing the best. And that's exactly what we got this weekend, bar the Patriots and Chargers game. It's
Yeah.
like, man, it was a fantastic weekend of football. I think next weekend could honestly get even better, which we're gonna talk about that probably later this week. But man, it's just this and then like the whole coaching carousel that's going on right now, man, it's shaping up to be one of the more fun off seasons in football. Plus also just
Definitely.
you want to toss in the draft we're gonna do later, like a couple months from now, whenever free agency starts to hit and then big trades happen, big signings happen. It's like
Yep.
and it's a football off season is one of the most fun things about football just in general.
It absolutely is. We do have 4 exciting games this weekend. 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. It all starts with the Bills and the Broncos at 4:30. Very excited about that game. Then we also have the Niners and Seahawks. So that's a great Saturday of football. Then Sunday it kicks off with Texans Patriots. That's going to be
That
ridiculous.
should be a really fun game.
And then we're going to end it with the Rams and the Bears. So 4 really, really good games. I think we're going to have all great regular season records. They all showed up and showed out this past weekend. We'll dive into those in the next episode, though. But yeah, man, what a weekend and what an episode we just got here. Always a blast. I do want to say, because we didn't mention it last time, for all you that are watching, of course, yeah, hey, we're on YouTube now. The audio, the podcast portion of this, you can catch on Spotify. So check us out everywhere. Like, subscribe, share, tell your local grocer, the guys at Walmart, wherever you are, follow us, hit us up. If there's topics you want to listen about or you're curious on, man, comment on the videos. Let us know what you want to hear. Definitely happy to give our take on different things. Yeah, another great time, my dude. Another great
Yeah,
time.
absolutely. I mean, I was thinking about it and I was like, I was treating today like a work day. It's like, but except I was excited to go to work this time. It's like, man,
Exactly.
it's always a fun thing to just do, like it's always just fun just to sit and just talk about all kinds of stuff that's happening. And then it's like, you get to put it out in the world now. And then it's like, now that we're on YouTube, we get to hear other people's feedback about it. That's one of the funnest things
Absolutely.
about being a content creator is that you get to hear other people's feedback on it, whether it be positive or negative. It's like, we're always listening,
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, man, it's always fun to just do these. I always look forward to doing a new podcast episode, and it's just, yeah, I do want to apologize on my end to all the listeners out there. We had like a weird kind of mic situation going on. We think we fixed it as of right now. We're gonna listen back and hopefully it sounds as good as what we think it do, but it does.
Yes.
But yeah, my apologies for the weird mic thing last time. But yeah, man, another great episode. I feel like.
Awesome. Well, we'll probably do another one Friday talking about and giving our preview of this weekend's round of the playoffs. We'll get a little bit deeper into the games, of course, give our predictions and probably talk some new nuggets. Let's go dive a little deeper this week into these games. I think there's some really good scenarios, really good matchups that we can talk about. But yeah, from us here at the All Out Blitz podcast, God bless and peace out.
Peace.